Good job, Baz, on the life formation video. Excellent work. Good job. I want to go ahead and read this out verbatim for Bibhas Day. He's been working for many years trying to expose the fraud of Big Bang cosmology. I think it's best that I read this out verbatim because, well, I think enough is said here and it's a different perspective, but it is an interesting perspective. LIGO. Neil deGrasse Tyson's bizarre tirade. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a science popularizing public figure with a large following. His fields generally are astronomy, astrophysics, and cosmology. His following, it can be assumed, looks to him to give the correct view of things and accepts that view in implicit trust. In a recent Q&A session, he was asked about LIGO. On that, he launched on a bizarre rant. This in itself is of no interest here, but what he says proves a very important point. People of his ilk, the legal commentariat, are peddling absolute garbage science to the world. This is the post-truth world of LIGO, maintaining a fraudulent discovery through total control of the news media with fake news, quote, an authoritative tough guy stance by a group of posers. Read this and that will show that Tyson does not know whereof he speaks. I'm not going to read that out, but I will link this to the page. And the comment on it basically goes something like this. Okay, let's take his points one by one. First, Tyson says LIGO is so sensitive that it can pick up a car traveling far away. LIGO responding to a car far away or to snow falling on cedars nearby or whatever has absolutely nothing to do with the working principle of the LIGO instrument. These spurious signals are recorded because they cause something to go out of whack inside LIGO. And most anything that goes out of whack inside LIGO will produce a LIGO whack signal. This signal is not generated according to the LIGO principle of operation. This process does not test anything about the LIGO working principle. Second, he says that the sequential arrival of the discovery signals is proof that it is a gravitational wave. End of discussion, he says. The sequential arrival can occur due to a number of reasons: high altitude geomagnetic disturbance, deep earth seismic disturbance, etc. Even fluctuations in the DC bridge connecting the American Eastern and Western electric power grids have been suggested as a possible cause of this near simultaneous observation of the same signal at the two stations. In fact, when an earlier discovery of gravitational wave was reported on the basis of such a simultaneity, Rainer Weiss himself shot this down, saying it was due to geomagnetic disturbance. Third, Tyson says that the LIGO discovery should be accepted because it has been made by competent people. Similarly, competent people also reported the Kobe satellite discovery and the Bicep 2 discovery. Both were fraud science. LIGO leader Rainer Weiss was also the scientific leader of the Kobe project. There's something very important about all this. When you have a large following, I think it's your responsibility to tell them that you might be wrong. There might be something seriously incorrect about what you're saying. And for them to use discernment, for them to decide for themselves if they should trust the information coming from you or if they should always take everything with a grain of salt. I think a disclosure statement is required for all scientific endeavors these days because a lot of it can be propagated by gullibility and it can be propped up with authoritative positions in universities, authoritative titles, and various other methods. As well as it's human beings here, we have people who want to make themselves look good, prop up their egos, get all the awards, the money, the prestige. There's that involved too. So if somebody like this Neil deGrasse Tyson never mentions that this might be completely false, if they say, well, we don't know for sure ever, if there's no doubt involved, you can be guaranteed there's something seriously up with everything that they're claiming. There's something wrong there. Because there's always doubt. And to have no doubt, and then we should trust them, and you should shut your mind off and not question anything they say. That's not being scientific, and that's not being a scientist. You should always question what they say. You should always look at their claims with critical, skeptical eyes. And for somebody like Tyson saying don't be critical of them because they are, quote, what's that one word he used? They are competent. Competence has nothing to do with this. If you're competent, sure, you can work inside of a paradigm, and that's that. But like with my theory, with stellar metamorphosis, competence has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with changing the worldview right off the bat. So you can be competent in a false worldview, but then when a new worldview shows up, your competence in the outdated worldview, it won't matter. Because it's all new information. It's all a new way of looking at the world. Like you could be competent in the flat earth worldview, but clearly it's completely wrong. Or you could be competent in the geocentric worldview, but it's completely wrong. So there's that. These people are competent in the Big Bang worldview, but it's, garbage science. It's something that's been pushed upon the public for the past almost 100 years now, and for some reason it propagates continuously, regardless of all this fraud being exposed. Alright, you guys, I think that's long enough. Take it easy.